Hi, Tom here, and in this week's Circle Line Art School video, I'll show you one way to draw the Gherkin, which is a famous building in the City of London. It's famous, I guess, for its unique shape and its beauty. It's based on the shape of a fir cone. The building was designed by the architect Norman Foster. So the first step in this drawing is to draw a tall, dome-like shape. Just a loose sketch, using several lines. We don't need to try and get it perfect straight away. We just need to find the lines that we need. It's a sort of elegant curve of a dome. That's what we're looking for. So slightly pointy at the top. Next we can draw an ellipse towards the top. An ellipse is just a squashed circle, a circle seen from an angle. Now we can add a series of flowing lines from our ellipse at the top, going towards the right hand side of the gherkin. These lines need to be sort of flowing in a natural way. Again, we can just sketch these lines as they curve around this sort of three-dimensional surface. So they're like a curved line on a curved surface. So as long as they look something like it, I'm sure they'll be fine. But they all need to sort of go together in the same direction. There are a series of double bands which sort of echo each other. Once we have a set of curves, then we can add more curves in between them. Now we can repeat this process, but this time the lines of the curves can go from the top ellipse towards the left-hand side of the gherkin. They should make a series of diamonds, a bit like fishnet stockings, as a pattern over the shape that we're creating. Now we can erase some of the lines that we no longer need. We can also draw with the eraser to emphasize the angle of the curves that we're drawing on the building. Next, we can add a few details at the top and double up the crisscross lines. For this drawing, I'm using a 4B pencil and also a mechanical pencil, which can get to a sharper point. We can now add a series of more ellipses going around the whole form of the gherkin. Again, we need the top part of the ellipse, as we're looking up at this tall building. But sometimes it's useful to draw the whole ellipse, the whole squash circle, but then just use the top front part of it. In this drawing, I think the more times that we can repeat the shapes that we have already drawn, the more it will hopefully look like a big building with lots of small details. So if the details are very large, it's not going to look like a large building. But if the details are really tiny and quite sharp, and they vary in tone, then it will look like something that's large but further away from us, the viewer. Once you think you have enough shapes wrapping around the gherkin, then we can start to add some tone. For this drawing, I want the facets of the glass, as it's a glass building, to look like they're capturing the light that's shining upon it. So I want to draw a range of tones of light and dark areas across the surface of the gherkin building. To draw different tones, just change the pressure you apply with the pencil when you draw. Each of the diamonds in this drawing can be divided into a grid of smaller diamonds, into 6 or 9 perhaps smaller diamonds. To get a sense of light and dark, it is, I think, fine to have some areas sharp and other areas of the gherkin building more blurred. we can use the edge of an eraser to mark out the highlight on this drawing, a sort of vertical line going through the middle of the building, maybe towards the right a little bit. But we can use an eraser to mark that out. Now we have, I think, perhaps basically finished the Gherkin building, more or less. We could add some more buildings at the base of the Gherkin. There's a small church on the right with a tower, and then there are some other buildings to the left which we can just make up, and they're all going towards the left and they're all sort of overlapping behind each other to make that will help them look like they're going away from us. And then all the horizontal lines of the building can just slope towards the left to give an indication of some form of perspective, so that they look again as if they're going away from us. So these are quite big buildings, but compared to the Gherkin, they're very small buildings. Once we are satisfied with these buildings that we have in the foreground, we've got a big space on our page on the left and another big space on the right. So in these areas, I'd like to add 2 more buildings, sort of close up, showing their structure. The first building on the left is going to be part of the famous Lloyd's building by the architect Richard Rogers. So to draw this Lloyd's building on the left, start by drawing a vertical line, and then we can divide this up horizontally to make a sort of ladder shape. The Gherkin was designed with ecology in mind, reusing heat, those sort of things. And the Lloyd's building, I think, was designed more to show the workings of the inner part of the building, putting them on the outside, so it's sort of got an honesty to its form. It's not hiding how it works as a building. It's in plain view. Next, we can choose an angle for the diagonal line that we're going to need on the ladder shape, and we can use this diagonal line the same angle for every other rectangle. Now we can draw a series of ellipses on the left of this block for a sort of exterior stairwell. Once these sort of tin can shapes are drawn in on the left, we can add some exterior drain pipes on the ladder-like part of the building. If you like this drawing and find it useful for your own drawings, please visit my website circlelineartschool.com, where you can sign up to learn more about my next online art course. Now we can erase some of the lines that we no longer need on the left, and it is time to draw the last building on the right. The building that we'll put here is another building which is close by to the Gherkin, and it's called the Willis Building, and again it's by the architect Norman Foster. To draw the Willis Building, start by drawing a straight vertical line on the right, and then we can draw a series of curved lines going up from this vertical line towards the right hand side of the page. The facade of the Willis Building is a concave shape. It goes inwards, and it's a glass wall which reflects the tones from the nearby buildings and interacts with the shafts of light which get caught between the buildings. Now we can add some shading to the Lloyd's building on the left, a dark flat tone on the base of each of the shapes. We can also add some softer shading on the buildings at the base of the Gherkin. We can continue this soft shading, this light shading, on the Willis building on the right, with its simple curved structure. The last few steps in this drawing are just to add a few more tones and some smaller shapes, some smaller details. We could add a simple tonal sky in the background as well. A few clouds as it's London. Thank you very much for watching this drawing tutorial. My name is Tom McPherson and I post a new video every week on my YouTube channel, Circle Line Art School. Please subscribe to keep up to date. Thank you for watching and see you next time.